something like this, and then back to...
Yeah, it's what chat's saying.
It turned the audio off again. All right, everybody. Welcome to episode number 78 of Skep Talk Live. Let me get back to being able to actually see the audience. Witless Wonder says, my favorite tradition of technical difficulties. Excellent. All right. So, what did we miss there when the audio was off? A joke about the fact that this isn't an upgrade. This is just so I can remember what episode number it is. And then, yeah, time to introduce tonight's panel. Everybody here is returning champion. And to start off, we've got Jason. How are you doing, Jason?
Oh, pretty good. Just enjoying my new accounting job, apparently.
I figured you'd enjoy that one. I can change it if you want to. It was just, it's just flicking some shit at you. Looks like I'm seeing a little bit of slowdown on the stream myself. If the chat wants to let us know if they're getting slowdown or buffering issues, let me know. I've got a fix, I think. But also, for the first time, but yet again, we have Dr. Tom.
Yes.
So, Tom, you are a doctor.
Thank you.
Yeah, you are a doctor of nuclear engineering, and that brings me to have a single question. How does a nuclear power plant get sick? Seems like a bullshit degree to me.
It needs a steady supply of vitamin E. And then when you lose your E for electricity.
Right,
to make
exactly.
Horrendous jokes. When you lose your vitamin E, the plant dies. It gets sick and it vomits radiation.
Wait, now are you trying to tell me that you're a botanist? You're trying to keep a plant alive? All right, enough of dumb jokes. Shada, welcome back to the show. 2 nights in a row. How are you doing?
Very well. How are you doing, Udo?
Not too bad. Is everything working out for you on the technical side? I know that was the reason we couldn't have you back for quite a while.
I think so. It was the mic issues and whatever. Yeah, everything's working.
Really glad you got that sorted. Like, doing the mute episode with you was super fun, but it's even better to talk.
It really wasn't that much fun for me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
It was like trying to communicate. I can't type as quick as before you move on, and yeah, it just isn't the same.
Right.
Oh, I just enjoyed the charades. The charades were so fun for me.
I get to guess what Shane is thinking by the facial expressions, which is not often that hard.
Right. Very communicative. All right, so I've got a fun show for you guys tonight, but we've got a couple of announcements first. First one is, as always, this is a fair use talk show, and everything that we're doing here is covered under the fair use laws. I'm pretty sure. So get ready to rumble in court if you want to, do some stuff. 2, if you want to support the show, you can always subscribe. You can always donate. Follow us if you're not following us. But if you don't want to spend any money or press a follow button, you can click this link that I'm about to add into the chat there. That will formulate a tweet that'll tell everybody on your Twitter follower list what you're doing right now, and hopefully they'll come join our show and come have fun. The more people talking, the better this show gets. Yep. After that, we've got a merch store. Not everybody knows that we've got this, but I'm pressing it a little bit because I'm really liking this store, and they just added some new shit, and I have some cool new ideas. But I wanted people to know that it's there. We've got everything from our psychedelic sex drugs line of stuff. Imagine the face on your aunt when you show up to Thanksgiving with the sex drug hoodie.
Oh my god.
Or at Thanksgiving, if you show up and your crazy conspiracy uncle sees you with an Illuminati eye on a t-shirt, or if you were to show up at, Thanksgiving and half of your family who believes that Sagittarius has something to do with them, you could show them your astrology is bullshit t-shirt. But on that note, I've got all 3 of your guys' shirts in. So I just got to meet up with you guys, and I can give you guys those shirts that I got for you. So,
hell yeah. There was an excellent opportunity for you to do so this weekend.
There totally was. For those of you who don't know, I am an old man, and I have weird problems like sciatica sometimes. And I old manned out of a party this weekend for like one of the first times in my life.
I have sciatica. I actually feel your pain. If
Dude,
it's
shit
really
hurts.
hurting,
Shit hurts. Yeah.
Not much you
Right.
can do. It's actually hard to stand.
Yeah.
It hurts when Udo's holding this whole fucking show up on his shoulders. Pulling a muscle.
Exactly. All right. So to go through the next part, you guys got to just take a little listen because it's time to get hyped for the news.
News hype.
I love this.
It is straight up like the most legit part of our show.
I know.
No, we're legit.
Right?
We're a real
Almost look
show.
professional for the video.
Right.
A second.
So today I'm gonna do something I've really never done before on anything like this. We're gonna deliver a little bit of a message 3 times throughout the show, just so I can make sure that people who are coming in and out see it. Possibly today is National Register to Vote Day. So if you are not registered to vote, you should do so because the world is headed down the shitter and people need to do some shit about it.
Yeah.
Whatever side of the line you're on, go register. So that if my side gets beaten, it's because people went out and registered to vote, and I'll feel a little bit better about that. So, exactly. Candidate, welcome to the show.
I think we just figured something out in the chat.
What's that?
When you played that video, it significantly slowed the stream down.
Okay.
Is it your upload?
Let me just swap the bitrate one more time. We're gonna throw the bitrate down just a little bit more, and it should take some
China attacks.
Yeah, exactly. Take a little bit of weight off of the encoding software, so that should be fine. All right, we are down at 2500 bitrate, and I mean it should be fine, but we'll figure it out. All right, so on to the stuff that I've got planned for the show for you guys. Here are 2 of the headlines that didn't make it today. I didn't really get very many that were interesting that didn't make it today, but the first one is researchers discover that human cannibalism isn't nourishing and then won a science prize.
Wow.
It was an
I'm glad we checked that off the list.
right.
That actually, like, how are humans not like a complete set of proteins for people?
You know what? The research they won an IG Nobel Prize, which is not a real like Nobel Peace Prize or anything like that, but it's a science prize for something that someone creates that makes you laugh, then makes you learn, right?
Yeah.
But the human body is if you were to hunt humans for food, you would need to supplement too much other stuff because I guess a lot of the other things that we require, we burn up and you can't get them out.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Interesting.
It takes a lot of fuel. We're burning through most of the calories, or not just calories, but everything that we're taking in. So I can't imagine there'd be much left.
The story in question here, the reason it didn't make it into the show is it was really dry. It was an actual like scientific discussion that is just very boring and to the point when we wouldn't really be able to laugh about it. We would definitely be sitting here for about 10 minutes going, okay. And then the second thing that didn't make it into the show today that I thought was noteworthy was anti-gay lawyer who tried to marry his porn-filled laptop sues Lafayette Parish Library, claiming that drag queens reading endorses religion. And that headline.
What in the fuck?
Doesn't make sense.
Right. And it turns out that neither did all of the claims. When I was reading through it, all of these are this guy is a crazy person who just starts weird like litigations and stuff, and none of it's true. The story was a piece of this guy is crazy. This is the last couple of things that he claimed.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But we do have some real news. And this first one is not going to make Shayna happy.
I'm like, okay. Guess
So
I'm preparing myself now.
yeah, maybe a little bit. Do you know what this is, Shayna?
Good Lord, no. Maybe? I'm not sure.
Okay.
A field of nope.
Is that
Right.
spider webs?
Yeah,
Yes.
that is what that is, isn't it? Oh, God.
Yep. So warmer weather conditions in western Greece have been leading to an eerie spectacle in a 300-meter long spider web in Attiliko. Yep, 300 meters long.
How many spiders does that
I gotta
take?
go.
So a vast area of greenery has been covered by the web, reports the Daily Halas. Experts say that it's a seasonal phenomenon called by tetragantha spiders, which build large nests for mating. An increase in the mosquito population in the area is also thought to have contributed to the rise of those numbers of spiders.
I think I might be more bothered by the mosquitoes.
Oh, yeah? Chat
How
at
many
TV.
fucking mosquitoes when there's 300 goddamn fucking meters of spider web? Like,
Yeah, right? They're not
shit
doing their
spiders.
job.
Seriously, one job. Kill the fucking mosquitoes.
Get your shit together, spiders.
It's horseshit.
Chat at TV points out that it's not 300 feet, but 300 meters. So these are fucking huge. Blaze Black Sheep says, "Where the flying fuck can I get a flamethrower? I'll deal with this." Canada says,
the flying fuck. I like that.
exactly. Canada says, "Yikes, I'm not afraid of spiders, but that's an overdose." So the high temperatures and plenty of food helped create ideal conditions for the creation of the super web. The professor of molecular biology and genetics at Democritus University Thrace in Greece said high temperatures, sufficient humidity, and more food allowed them to reproduce in more numbers. So this could just get bigger, but it looks like this won't be around for very long because the spiders will have their party and then soon die.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably best for everybody.
Right. Chat at TV says it's getting close to a quarter mile of spider webs.
Oh my God.
While we're at it and I'm taking a look here, let me thank our hosts here: Infinity Break Gaming, Gamer Fuel Studios Live, Orange Dragon 101, Pretty Random Network, Coco Mojo 64, The Underhaven, Primo Trio, and Andrew Wilson. Thank you very much for those
Awesome.
Oh,
hosts.
Andy.
Yep. Every host helps. It's great. All right. Let's see. Our next story here is about leash laws, and it's not what you think at all.
I don't trust you anymore.
I've
Yo,
been
yeah, you should
I've
never
been
trust
to-
me.
pirate festivals. Is this connected to the BDSM culture?
Yes and no, not willingly.
That's fucked up.
Exactly. So a man has been arrested, and this is definitely a rage story. So pre-warning for everybody, rage story incoming. A man was arrested at a Pennsylvania fair for using a dog leash to walk his wife. The reason he chose to do so was because she has late-stage dementia.
What the fuck?
That's
Right.
even fucking worse, dude.
Right? It's even worse. Sir Walter William Woolsford, or not Sir, but Walter William Woolsford
I
Sr.
hope not.
Mentally I put the SR from senior in front of William Wolsford.
Yeah.
Right, but it's Walter William Wolsford Sr., age 66 of Hagerstown, was charged with 1 count of simple assault at the York Fair on Saturday after witnesses told the police that they saw Wolsford leading his wife, Catherine Wolford, around the fairgrounds with a red nylon dog leash about 8 feet long. At one point, he was spotted yanking on the leash, causing his head to move backwards and for her to sustain red marks. The responding police noted that Catherine's condition was being treated by medical personnel at the fair. She was disoriented, did not know where she was or her own name, and spoke in gibberish. So,
that is so disturbing.
Yeah,
that's really fucked up.
Wolford told police that his wife was taken to the fair last year without a leash, but she wandered away from him, prompting him to come up with this idea in order to restrain her. He told me that he originally placed the leash around her waist, but somehow it had moved up to her neck. And when she was walking, it's complete horseshit.
Is she a very skinny woman?
Exactly. It just slipped right on up past her arms and shoulders over the neck.
Also, gravity doesn't work that way.
I feel horrible for laughing at that.
So definitely it's like, fuck this guy for making a situation that is funny and fucked up at the same time.
Yeah. It's also so ridiculous. It's fucking hilarious.
Right. I mean, so he said, I don't really like using it, but it was either this or not take her. And I think that that's the most important thing that we should take out of this, is that maybe it's a better idea not to take your late stage dementia wife into public. Like, that's where you get lost. That's how she falls into a tar pit somehow. Like, she's like,
what is she, a fucking dinosaur?
Yeah, well, I mean, yes. All right. This one's so aggravating. So state regulators have put a halt to a Maine restaurant's owner's experiment of sedating live lobsters with marijuana smoke before they're cooked.
All right.
Jason, your thoughts?
I actually saw somebody post about this.
You mean
weed crabs,
right? So Charlotte's legendary lobster pound in Southwest Harbor is getting some of its lobsters high before it starts to cook them, told owner Charlotte Gill. So Gill, a registered medical marijuana caregiver, said Saturday that she was working to change her procedure after a technicality under the Maine Medical Use Program had a remark from the health department. The inspection program was investigating. Emily Spencer, a spokeswoman with the Department of Health and Human Services, said Saturday. She said that the state was also looking into whether medical marijuana was being used properly in that situation. So the reason she started doing this was because she's citing a new study that came out earlier this year that lobsters actually have an advanced nervous system and might feel pain.
Okay.
Right.
What does that study say about lobsters smoking weed?
Right.
Yeah, right? Does it have cannabinoid receptors? I mean, I think this is a great idea if it actually works. If it's just the thing humans are doing because it's like, oh, this is awesome, we're eating, that's fucking fucked. That's like a tantamount to torture, and that's fucked up.
I got $5 that says she was getting high as fuck in the kitchen and was just blowing the smoke at the lobsters.
Right?
She's just sitting there. She's just like getting super high. She's like, you guys want some?
Yeah, I'll do. Hot boxes pot for you.
I am hearing a small bit of distortion in the sound. I want to make sure that I'm not like getting an update or some stupid shit. because that would. All right, looks okay. Yeah.
It was given a momentary lag on the stream, it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like
stream's getting real laggy.
Yeah.
all right,
it
hold on. So you guys are gonna get no video for a bit. We'll see if that fixes it for a little bit. All right. Everybody should be able to see from my side, and then we'll watch to see if the stream gets back to where it's supposed to be.
So doing a little digging, you were definitely right that she was just getting stoned out of her fucking gourd and blowing smoke at the lobsters. What she would do was put the lobster named Roscoe in a covered box with some water and then blew the smoke into the water.
Yeah.
So it's secondhand. Well, obviously, you're not. Yeah.
My wife is distraught at the stoned lobster.
Can you like take a glass of water, blow a bunch of pot smoke onto it for a long time, and then give it to someone else and have them drink it and them get high?
I don't.
Probably not.
No, I don't think so.
Your
Then she
lungs
wasn't-
are basically filters.
She wasn't doing shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
This lobster was not high.
No, what Witless Wonder said is so good.
Witless Wonder says, from the hot box to the hot pot. Chata TV says this has Portlandia all over it. I can see the skit in my head. Well, it was in Maine, so it could be Portlandia, Maine. Oh, way up there.
It's looking like those TVs on the stream are all,
Yeah.
are all going willy wonky on the
Where's my beautiful face?
It's because I didn't click the right button. But now it's
Somebody
fixed.
get tinfoil. There we go.
We're good. We're good. Or at least we should be. I mean, who knows? We should be. But, okay. All right. I keep clicking the wrong button to get away from the slideshow. Go to the next thing. But okay. But Chata says the THC is fat soluble, though. I wonder. So I mean, the solution here is to just make weed butter, and that's what you dip the lobsters in, right? But with that note, right? Now that you know that lobsters feel pain, does it make lobsters less delicious? Jason, you're professional. Oh, he's gone. He's gone as shit.
He disappeared.
All right, Dr. Tom, your professional opinion.
Not really, because I don't like lobster in the first place that well. Whatever, they're pinchy little jerks. I don't give a shit.
Excellent. All right, Shayna, now that you know lobsters feel pain, are they less delicious?
I don't really like lobster that much either.
Okay.
You've ruined your
In fact,
fireside
I
chat.
don't like
No, it's
it
perfectly
at all.
fine. Witless Wonder says being allergic to lobster certainly makes lobster less delicious. Yes, Squid Punk says lobster is not delicious. It's a vehicle for moving butter. That is.
I support that.
I'm so along that line. There is only one type of lobster that tastes like anything, and it's fucking dope. And the other ones taste like shit. They're just there's no flavor to them. They're garbage. But rock
like
lobsters
dirty
are
fish.
fantastic. And then lots of people are all like, "Oh, rock lobsters are gamey and gross," and I'm like, "You're gamey and gross." Anyway, now that I know that rock lobsters can feel pain, they are in fact more delicious. So
I can taste the agony.
exactly. Apparently, we're getting choppy again. That's really weird because we're not even screen sharing.
Huh.
Let me check to make sure that like Windows isn't sneaking an update because it's very possible. Razer Synapse is trying to sneak one, but that's
It's
not
not
going to
looking
take much.
choppy for me. Okay, well maybe a little bit.
Maybe a little bit. Chris says it looking good to him. All right, well we'll keep rolling and see if it keeps going. But all right. Our next story here, while Jason checks his chicken, is okay. So a burglar drunk on Lambrini and beer used a giraffe statue as a battering ram to break into a shop, and then fell asleep at the scene, according to the court.
Wow.
Prepare the giraffe.
What kind of what kind of a store is it?
Well,
It's a
Edward.
shop.
Right, Galbraith 20 said he had no memory of the break-in at the shop on Worcester or Worcester. Is it Worcester? I think this one might be Worcester.
This isn't
It's
Britain.
not spelled the same as Worcester. Right.
This is
do you
somewhere in
It
Britain,
is.
right? Not the United States. I feel like this would only have happened somewhere in Britain. Do you? I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't. You said
Worcester.
giraffe. I see the picture, and you're like using a giraffe to break the window, and immediately I think this happened somewhere in Britain.
But it's spelled Worcester. So Worcester or Worcester.
I think it's Worcester.
Right?
Worcester.
Yeah, Worcester, because then you get Worcestershire sauce.
Right, but it doesn't have. But it doesn't have. It doesn't that have an H in it?
No, it's spelled just like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
you
all
just
right.
take the hobbits out.
But anyway, on September 3rd, this was when the break-in happened, and he woke up in a confused under a clothing rail. The giraffe was named Dottie and was due to be auctioned to raise money for hospice. The man was handed over to handed a community order pleading guilty at Worcester Magistrates Court. He admitted to stealing clothes and damaging Dottie, the sculpture. He was ordered to pay £1,860 in compensation and to complete 150 hours of unpaid work. So it doesn't say what kind of store it was, but he was stealing clothes. So I'm assuming he.
I guess I see. Yeah. I'm just wondering, is it shop?
Right.
Yeah.
So basically, he just used a giraffe to break into a clothing store, got crazy, and fell asleep inside. Oh, you rowdy hooligans.
You and your giraffe hooliganings.
All right, I'm going to have this part's going to get a little weird. I'm going to play another video. You guys are going to have to
Weird.
Right, you guys are going to have to watch it on the stream if I'm not. So, I know that we'll be a little bit behind, but here it goes. I want you guys to take a look at this video and tell me what you think is wrong with it. You're going to hear some music on my side.
What the fuck?
Right? Okay, so there's technically nothing really wrong with it. It's hilarious. There's giant monsters, and they're like, they're kicking. Yeah,
They're like tree mooses.
right. And they're fucking with random people in Ireland and a bunch of human stuff.
Why did we start off with a horse with like windswept hair?
I don't know.
What is this?
Ireland,
This
the
is
land
a
of windy horses. Moose Groot.
It's Moose Groot.
That shit's tight.
That is super cool.
Is it a show? What is this? What are we?
So what? Sorry, just a random dude came into the stream and decided that he wanted to put some stuff about his giveaway in our channel. If you're still watching or you come back to see, probably ask the streamer about that. It's just etiquette. Bloodmaster, welcome to the show. Look at them eyes. There they are. Undarius TV, thank you very much for those eyeballs. I love them. All right. So that show, that little clip that we just watched, was a thing that aired. It's just a little cut on a TV station where they're, like, hey, you're watching, I think it's like called TG4. Like, you're watching TG4 or whatever. The problem with what happened there was that aired seconds before the news cut back on. In order for a piece of news to talk about a woman who died because the wind swept her caravan off of a cliffside into water. So
Tree mooses.
So
Yeah,
a bunch
exactly.
of retards.
right. But I mean, like, this had been scheduled for like a week, right? Like it was just automated. It was just something that they're all like, yeah, our innocent little commercial. But then the news cuts back on and it's like, here you go. Let me get that link for you, chat here. This one is
it's highly worth watching.
Right.
Especially with that context.
Right, Caravan Storm Death. This should be the right one right here. You should be able to watch that there. But it was just the worst timing ever. So the clip was aired ahead of the Nalshut Bulletin, which reported the death of Swiss tourist Elvira Ferrari, who passed away after a caravan she was staying in blew off of a cliff in Galway. Right after showing a monster throwing a similar caravan into the ocean. The spokesman for the Irish language channel said that they call it an indent was auto scheduled and removed once they spotted it, but you know. Let's see, check out the chat. Moose Roots has been a name that's been added here, which is fucked up. Grizzly said someone did not think that went through. Willis Wonder says rest in peace.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. But no, definitely people were all like, holy shit, like that was so of course they got a bunch of flack, but I could imagine the panic at the station the first time somebody's like watching that. They're all, oh no.
That's news stations are trying to be real controlling. I can imagine they were just freaking out.
All right, so our next story is about a strip club, right?
All right.
And as far as I can tell, there are no robots involved. So we may be a little bit out of our wheelhouse on this story, but we're going to give it a try. So Sharky's Lounge in Harrison Township is losing its liquor license at the end of the business day today. I think this story may have been either yesterday or the day before, but, you know, very close. The Ohio Liquor Commission revoked the Adult Entertainment Club's license, according to the Ohio Investigative Unit, as agents with the OIU began their investigation, which is also known as of the company 2250 Incorporated, which is also known as Sharky's, in May of 2017. During the investigation, agents said that they were able to buy drugs and lap dances using food stamps.
What the fuck?
They're
Right?
That's not
They're vital American necessities.
No, it's not legal at all. But during the 5-month-long investigation, 8 agents exchanged more than $2,000 worth of food stamps to buy heroin, fentanyl, carfentanil, cocaine, methamphetamine, and lap dances. Critical, right?
Oh my god.
That we end on lap dances. It's like and lap dances.
Shayna, you were saying?
No, I don't remember. I just sorry.
You were
my
just saying, oh my god.
disturbedness.
Yep. No, it's all good. So the criminal charges were filed against employees and patrons for drug trafficking, food stamp trafficking, aggravated shipment, and distribution of heroin. Aggravated shipment. Okay, anyway, sorry. Engaging in a pattern of corrupt activity and illegal sexual activity. This is the second adult entertainment club that has had its liquor permit revoked as a result of an investigation with the OIU, and the other was the Harem, located in North Dixie Drive, and its license was taken away in 2018. Squidpunk says, since when does EBT work at strip clubs? Like, who didn't tell me? I've been missing out. Willis Wonder says, sounds like a balanced breakfast to me. Right. Squidpunk says, well, of course, safety. Okay, gotcha. 2 babying balanced on the lap. Gotcha. All right. But this made me think of something for a legitimate fireside chat right here. And chat, feel free to weigh in, as always. And we started with Tom last time, so we'll start with Shayna this time. So Shayna, when automation if automation were to take over, right, and we end up with the we're going to need to get a paycheck for for being human. Wait, I put not being human, but we get a paycheck for being human, right? While the robots do all the work. Should we be restricted on how to spend it? This is that whole like basic like living stipend for everybody who's going to get displaced by robots.
No.
Right?
Only because I feel like that's a really good indication of who's going to survive and not. People are going to spend their money on what is right or not. And if you try to waste time trying to restrict it, that's just a lot of I can't imagine doing that if automation is taking over everything. That would actually be really fucking stupid.
Right. Squidbunk brings up the actual name, which is Universal Basic Income. That was the thing I was failing to remember. Jason, what do you think? Should we be restricted how we spend Universal Basic Income if it ever came?
I don't think so, but I also think that there'd be a lot of really big fucking issues if we did try to go UBI. Right. The only countries that have successfully pulled that off are super socialist.
Right.
And with a capitalist housing structure and market system, I don't think UBI is a good way to go unless they somehow limited how much people charge for rent.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a good point.
Well,
the reality of it.
This is the question for, I mean, UBI may actually be one of the only solutions when you have zero jobs that anyone can have. Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
But
I don't think that's possible.
I don't think we'll ever hit zero jobs that there are to be done, but it'll be there are literally more people than there are jobs that can reasonably be done.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
and all of the guys who are working in the coal mines now won't have the education to do the jobs that we do have.
Also, I'm curious, what about human history convinces us that the people that are going to enact this give two shits what happens to all the people that don't have jobs or money or resources?
Because if they don't, we give them the guillotine.
Yeah, I think history actually shows that they do care.
Well, maybe.
Because when they don't and things get shitty, yeah.
French revolutions, right?
The main difference here would be if they have a fully robotic security, police, and military force. You know what I mean? That we can't fight back against. But that would be something completely new. So I don't think looking towards history for answers would be.
And you make a really good point about needing to pretty much almost entirely do just basically something with real estate if UBI were to ever happen. Or I would feel like in some ways you'd see kind of what happened with college costs when there was more or less unlimited or not unlimited, but when demand became almost completely inelastic to price. And real estate demand in a lot of ways is already inelastic to price. So an influx of money is just going to lead to, oh, hey, there's more money that we can charge now. Cool. Thanks, suckers.
Salty Frank of the Seven Seas says robots are playing the long con. Skynet's killing us off by taking our jobs. Squidpunk says that rather than UBT, just give a basic home and the tastiest of food paste. As long as the internet becomes, a utility, I'll be fine. All right. Good talk, everybody. I liked it. We actually had, reasonable things to say. I like it.
That was cool.
Now we go to an unreasonable story.
Oh, dear.
So a British woman has been questioned by police in Spain after doctors found a dead tortoise inside of her vagina. According... Yeah. Staff at the emergency department of a medical center in the South Island of Tenerife have said to police that they called the local police after they made a bizarre discovery. The unnamed woman, described as an expat by EL Confidential, is said to have sought help after suffering pain in her genitalia area, in which doctors diagnosed as an infection caused by the wayward reptile.
Turtle vaginitis.
Right. The Sun has not been able to independently verify any of the claims because but it's been reported widely in the Spanish media. she's said to have told police that she began feeling odd after going partying with a group of friends a couple of days earlier. She apparently had no idea how the reptile ended up where it did, and the size of the reptile has not been revealed, and some reports suggest it may have been a turtle rather than a tortoise.
Did she get like blackout drunk and shove a turtle up her vagina?
Yeah, maybe. Shayna, what was that?
I what the fuck?
Right, exactly. I told you it was an unreasonable story. Jason, your thoughts?
I was checking on the chicken I'm cooking. What did I miss about a
turtle vaginitis?
Lady?
That's what you missed.
Turtle vaginitis is a very real problem that affects one person.
One person.
One
So says
person in the
Dr.
world.
Tom.
Right.
This sounds like a remake of Teeth, but it's called Beak.
Oh God, was it a snapping turtle?
Oh no. The National Police in Tenerife have reported to have been called into question that the woman has concern over how the animal ended up there, and it could be a sexual assault case.
I mean,
But
I guess
a lot of data is being held back.
I
guess statistically speaking, you get
thought about that.
billions of people on the planet. One of them's bound to have a turtle in their vagina. That's how you know we've reached too many humans.
Let's see. Willis Wonder says, did the turtle wear a condom? Salty Frank says it had protection. That's what the shells are for. Chat at TV says that Dr. Tom sounded like a pharma TV ad. Turtocil, that's terrible.
Side effects of Turtocil may include dizziness, vomiting, nausea, discharge, and death.
Correct.
What up, B42? Thanks.
Yeah, Raznier, thank you very much for that lurk.
Yeah.
All right. Our next story is somehow not a Florida story. So this, I mean, I am unable to verify it, but this is apparently a woman who yelled at Social Security. I thought for a minute when I first looked at this, I was like, oh, it's Florida man. Wait, it's not Florida. Wait, it's not man.
Everything is wrong.
Exactly. So this woman hit a security guard in the head with her fanny pack that contained a small pigeon, and then pulled out a knife on him and has been arrested and charged in Northern Virginia.
Of course.
Right?
Virginia.
Fairfax County Police said that the incident unfolded at 10:24 a.m. At the Social Security Administration office on Wapples Road in right in Fairfax.
Wapples.
Right. Police were called when the woman assaulted the security guard at the facility and yelled at employees there. When the guard tried to approach her, she hit him in the head with her fanny pack. Once the security guard escorted her outside, she pulled a knife and threatened him. He closed the door to the facility, and the police arrived. The police officer found the woman, who was later identified as Lori Weaver, 56, of New York. She then was arrested without incident. Officers checked her fanny pack and found a pigeon inside.
Was it alive?
The pigeon was taken to a local animal shelter and was not harmed. So it's very possible that she put the pigeon in after the assault, but
the pigeon of steel.
What is happening? It's like the Noah's Ark of vaginas or something.
Right. Salty Frank says, country roads take me home. All right. The pigeon will be returned to the wild after the investigation is complete, according to a police statement. All right, so here's where we're going to get to one of our first title stories. Part of one of the things that you saw in the title of this stream. So if you're here for those weird things, here comes one of them. So this is a story about Tokyo. They had a wacky inventions a conference, I guess, an exhibition, and I want to be there more than anything. So
that guy's hat is both of their hats are fucking fantastic.
Right?
Why? That dude on the right is like wearing like pretty standard clothes and then a fucking top hat.
Right.
What the?
And it looks like it's not even a normal top hat. It's like a theatrical one. It's
Right.
bigger at the top.
Oh my god.
To harken back to the last story we're at, Salty Frank of the Seven Seas just said is, so all I'm hearing is that they stole her Pidgeot that was using a quick attack. The police aren't Team Rocket. That is a very good point. So here's some of the inventions that were there. There was a gadget to translate dog barks for humans. A baby pod that plays music inside the mother's vagina for unborn babies, and the world's first self-colonoscopy method.
Oh my gross.
What?
That's fair. That's a fucking modern miracle, ladies and
Right?
Use all three at once. Talk to your dog while you play music for your baby and look inside your own asshole.
So the Japanese medic Akira Horochi, 57, was among the winners of the last week's tongue-in-cheek prize, organized by the satirical science journal Annals of Improbable Research, for his do-it-yourself colonoscopy.
Nobody read those annals.
Right? The researcher said that he had never found this method embarrassing. He said, I knew that the importance of colonoscopies and the numbers of colon cancer patients was increasing. His latest research shows that cancer of the colon is the most prevalent form of disease among Japan's 870,000 cancer sufferers, according to the National Cancer Center. Not many people take the test, so I wanted to create an examination that could be accepted by everyone. Another exhibit was a dog language interpreter called Bulllingual, which which classifies barks into 6 emotional categories: frustration, menace, joy, sorrow, despair, or desire, and self-expression. My dog is self-expressing. Salty Frank says world's first. They sell those wall inspection cameras at Home Depot for years.
Get some lube and get to town.
Exactly.
This is basically Shazam for dogs.
Right.
It's amazing.
The baby pod is a speaker that is inserted into the vaju that creates a concert for unborn children. Right?
I figured it was like some sticky speakers that you put on your belly, but
Nope. It's a full insert.
That's some surround sound.
Plug it in. After
Jesus.
research has shown that this was an effective way of playing music than on the belly. Japanese researchers have won IG Nobel Prizes for 12 years in a row. The winners include a team who developed Bulllingual and researchers who discovered female insects endowed with a dingus, apparently.
Wow.
Yeah. In most of the world, when people behave in eccentric ways, it's considered to be a bad thing. And in Japan and in the UK, it's different, they said. So, don't kill your eccentrics. You love them, inventing so many crazy, clever, and wonderful things. But yeah, that's the
That's fair.
I love this. I want to go there so fucking bad. Like, just
Oh my god, reporting live. Oh my god.
exactly. Where's the line for the colonoscopy machine?
God.
Salty Frank says, again, they sell water and weatherproof wireless Ryobi speakers at Home Depot for years.
Oh my god.
Undarius says a Beats pill, like Beats by Dre.
Amazing.
And Blaze Black Sheep says, I can't get over how proud he looks of that thing in this photo, right? He's like, this was up my butt,
ass.
right?
Oh my god.
I used this to see what I ate yesterday. All right, this time starting with Jason, and feel free to weigh in, chat. Would you use any of the previously mentioned inventions?
I would definitely use Shazam for dogs.
Right.
That's also colonoscopy machine. I'm really scared of butt cancer.
Right.
If I could make sure I'm fine and talk to a dog, I mean, it's just like, dude, fucking.
Now you can seriously when your dog looks at you reproachfully for showing things up your ass.
Right.
Now what he's saying.
Squabbly, welcome to the show. Welcome back.
Oh my god.
But all right, Tom, Dr. Tom, would you use any of the previously mentioned inventions? I mean, I can see that you'd probably use the medically related ones.
I'll look up my own ass, sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually I would totally self colonoscopy. It would be weird, but I'd be all like, I did it.
So gross.
Right.
Dude, I think that's actually a problem. If this becomes a thing and people can self colonoscopy themselves,
right?
Dude, there's gonna be a new item added to everybody's shower, and that's gonna be the butt douche.
The butt scope.
Like, no,
right?
Dude, it was way too dirty up there. That was disgusting.
Oh god.
Spray me out before you go.
No. Gosh. No.
I could never look at my own ass.
I know.
I would rather pay a doctor like Tom.
Right.
I'll do it
Shayna,
for free.
Would you use any of the previously mentioned inventions?
I would totally. Sorry, I had to go back to click the button. I loved Jason's response. I can't do a self colonoscopy. I love the Shazam for dogs, though. That would be fantastically entertaining.
Right.
But I'm gonna leave the colonoscopy to the professionals. I don't need to look at that. No, I'm good.
All right. One thing that people aren't noticing is all three could be combined. And it's so that you have like your elevator music while exploring your dog with his consent. So
if you have his consent.
Right, exactly. You're helping making sure your dog doesn't get ass cancer.
Self-expression. Self-expression.
Fuck. Salty Frank of the 7 Seas says, can I use the speaker for internal use for my next physical, so when they tell me to take a deep breath they hear the drums echoing in the night?
Oh my god.
The next time that I go in for a physical and he puts the scope over, my chest to listen to my heart, it's just like Despacito.
I was gonna say, I bless the rains down in Africa.
No.
All right. So our next story here is about a man who told police that he just wanted to have some alone time to masturbate in the woods, and is now charged with felony indecent exposure for an incident that escalated into a fight with a passerby.
Wow. Nobody had some conflict resolution skills in that scenario.
Right, exactly.
So much.
I gotta find appropriate Twitch images, so Kenton Shaw, 55, admitted to police that he was doing his business along the Lake Wilderness Trail about 20 miles southeast of Seattle. He then found himself tussling with a man who took offense to his actions and tried to summon police, the reports say. The incident occurred about 7 p.m. on September 18th when 911 callers reported a naked man fighting someone on the trail near 2300 block of Southeast Lake Wilderness Drive. When deputies arrived at the scene, they heard crashing coming from a ditch and found two men who appeared to have two men, Shaw, who appeared to have a bloodied mouth, and a 42-year-old man, both covered in mud and dirt. When the deputy asked Shaw what happened, he allegedly yelled, "He found me with my expletive in my hand, jerking off, and kicked my ass." It says expletive here, but God. I can say ass, and I'm gonna say ass. But He contended that he never had any alone time and said that while walking out on the trail, he found a private location and began working on it. The 42-year-old man told a deputy that his wife saw Shaw above the trail, and so he hit him and placed him in a chokehold. He reportedly told Shaw to stay put while someone summoned the police and asked passing women to call 911. He later explained that he saw Shaw facing away from them and asked what he was doing. During that time, Shaw put his clothes back on and allegedly said, "Bro, cut me some slack. I was just in the woods jerking it, minding my own business."
What the
and claimed he was just a guy trying to take care of his needs. Deputies arrested.
You put it like that.
Right, exactly. Squabbly says, "I obviously wasn't fucking private if someone happened upon you that easily." Salty says, "Wait, was it right before or after? Because this changes my willingness to put my hands on this man." But I mean, like, I don't know. I would have a much different reaction, right? So say I'm walking with my lady through the forest and I come across a man who's, obviously doing that. I'm not gonna rush him and punch him and put him in a fucking chokehold. Right? I'm gonna be all like, "Hey, I'm gonna call the cops. I'm gonna let somebody know that we got some dude jerking in a public area. But yeah. I'm not wrestling this dude to the ground. If he decides, oh shit, the cops are coming and runs, the goal has been accomplished. The act is no longer happening. Yeah. Or if He's is still happening, he is talented."
Oh my god.
Salty Frank says timing could be off and he might attack you with a project. No. Yeah, exactly. All right.
Squids.
We've reached the halfway point of the show at exactly the halfway point of the show. Remind everybody, today is National Register to Vote Day, and you should do so. And everything's fucked in all directions. Either if you're on the side of everything being fucked, make sure to vote so that you can completely fuck everything, or if you're on the side of unfucking everything, make sure to vote to unfuck stuff. And remember, your local elections are just as important as the national ones, because that's how you get stupid shit like the people who are in charge of the town that a lot of us on this show live in. You want more roundabouts? That's how you get more roundabouts.
Wait, are you anti-roundabout?
Yes.
Are you not?
We don't have any in Corvallis. I don't give a shit.
Oh, we have fucking hundreds of them all over Eugene, and they're all stupid. In fact,
I thought roundabouts were supposed to be really nice.
They're not.
They're the fucking worst. They're like, let's overcomplicate turning left. Like,
right.
Why? Just take the fucking island out of the center, you assholes. This would be fucking easy.
I worked for a couple of summers. I worked in a city where there was a roundabout on my commute, and I will say, it was pretty chill.
So roundabouts are usually placed places where you have more than 4 places you're trying to go, correct? That's throughout the rest of the world, right?
That's the idea behind it.
Right. So in the town that we live in, the newest set of 2 different roundabouts are right next to each other, and I'm not even joking. There is no road between the 2 roundabouts, so it's a very complicated. You can just do figure eights of this thing. But no, not figure eights. You can make an 8-shaped thing. You can't ever cross over because it's always going the same direction, right?
Oh, right.
But they're right next to each other. It's just absolutely dumb. And then a bunch of the other roundabouts are in places that are so fucking obscure. For Shada and Jason, I'm referencing Green Hill Road.
I haven't seen it. I
haven't seen it.
There are arbitrarily, and for the last 10 years, just 2 different roundabouts out there instead of intersections.
Oh, yeah.
I was so like in my experience, roundabouts are really nice when it's like an intersection that you can get away with yielding at on the regular.
Right. But yeah, but these are literally just places that so there's like no street lights where these things are. So if you're traveling along, all of a sudden roundabout, and it's on a place that's like a 55-mile-an-hour road, and then suddenly roundabout.
No, fuck that. Okay,
right?
never mind.
There are so many people who crash into that stupid thing like 20, 50 times a year. Anyway.
Also, obligatory YouTube video of roundabout.
Exactly. All right.
Yeah, it's actually pretty fair.
Andrew Wilson says this. Let me open it in a new tab and take a look.
It's safe.
Yes. Yeah. Just randomly. I mean, like, I live shockingly close to this, right?
Just do fucking T intersection.
Right. This road right here to the north and the south it's a 55-mile-an-hour zone. So as if you're traveling along, all of a sudden the signs, which are not far enough back, give you no warning, and then you just end up getting almost airborne off of hitting a fucking a curb out of the middle of nowhere. Anyway, okay. Off of that, onto a story that I'm titling "No Dude, Your Dad Hated You."
Amazing.
And this is one mayoral hopeful bearing the name Adolf Hitler.
Oh, this is not the same thing.
Nope. Is seeking to lead a small town in the Peruvian Andes, and his candidacy has been opposed by a challenger with the name Lenin.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So on the October 7th election, ahead of the October 7th election, posters trumpeting Hitler Alba Sanchez, reading Hitler Returns and Hitler with the People, have gone up in Yungar, but the candidate insists that he rejects the Nazi leader's ideology. Alba says that his father did not know who Adolf Hitler was when he was named. He also said that despite considering changing his name after learning who the Nazi dictator was, he eventually decided against it. His mayoral hopes briefly came under threat when his opponent, Lenin Vladimir Rodriguez, sought to block him from registering as a candidate, but the motion was dismissed by electoral authorities.
Did you see what his campaign slogan is?
Wasn't it Hitler with the people, or?
Oh no, one of them was "I'm the good Hitler."
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It's so fucking good.
I'm the good Hitler.
Right. Reuters noted that many people in Latin America's they're named after infamous historical figures due to unique names, including someone named Osama bin Laden, who last year played for Peru's national youth soccer team.
Oh my god.
Right. But anyway, this dude's dad hated the fuck out of this kid. Who doesn't know who Hitler is?
Right?
I mean, I guess if they came from like a small village where the most technological thing in town was the fucking well, but like Lenin's slogan is, "Hey, at least I'm not Hitler."
Amazing. And the trains will be on time.
Right, exactly.
Oh wait, no, that was Mussolini.
Hitler, I barely knew her.
Salty Franklin 7C says, "I hope he doesn't run on free utilities as a plan in politics, so that he's getting a bit too close." All right, so this is one I'm calling CSI Cyprus. So a missing man who was murdered more than 40 years ago has been found after a fig from his stomach grew into a tree.
Wow.
What
This
the
true?
fuck?
This is 100% true. This story's
Somebody
cool
read
as hell.
this off, and I was like, "Is this true? This can't be true."
Everything your parents told you about apple seeds is real.
Exactly.
How horrifying!
But so I mean, like, it's actually not a horrifying story. This is a pretty good story. So he was murdered. His corpse decayed, and a seed that was inside of him grew.
Oh, it was okay.
He was not murdered by a tree. He was murdered by a man with dynamite.
Holy shit!
So Ahmet Hergun was killed during the conflict between Greek Cypriots and Turkish Cypriots in 1974, but his body remained undiscovered for decades. It was eventually discovered because the tree that grew from him was in an unusual area for that tree. Incredibly, the dead man had been taken into a cave with two others, and both of them were killed by dynamite that was thrown in after them. The dynamite also blew a hole in the side of the cave, allowing light to come into the darkened exterior, which allowed a fig tree to grow from his body. Cool piece of or not a cool piece of information, but a historical piece of information here is up to 200,000 people were displaced in that conflict. His sister, 87-year-old Munir Hürgener, said that they used to live in a village with a population of 4,000 people, half Greek, half Turkish, and in 1974, the disturbances began. Her brother Ahmet joined the Turkish resistance, and on the 10th of June, the Greeks took him away. For years, she searched for his body in vain, and unbeknownst to her, that his grave had ended up being marked by the fig tree that grew from his stomach. The tree was spotted in 2011 by a researcher who was curious as to how the tree ended up inside of a cave, and especially in a mountainous area where the tree is not usually found. While carrying out his research and digging around the tree, he was then horrified to find human body remains underneath the tree. Upon digging further, police recovered a total of 3 bodies. Munir Hunger added that her brother was believed to have been one that had eaten the fig, and blood samples from her family matched the DNA fragments that was confirmed that it was her brother's final resting place. And the detectives that were investigating the killing discovered that the brother Ahmet and the 2 others had been killed by dynamite in the cave, and that the blast had made the hole.
This is actually essentially the way what my dad wants with his body when he dies.
Yeah.
He liked the idea of being buried and then a tree, like an oak tree or something, planted on top, which is kind of the same concept. I don't know if he necessarily meant for his. I mean, probably because the body would eventually go into the earth, but that's actually really is a cool story.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the what was that, the there's an arrangement where you can get your urn as a biodegradable planter with a seed in it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah,
I know you can make loved ones into diamonds.
Right.
That's cool.
Salty Frank of the Sea says, can someone murder me after I eat an edible arrangement so that I can sprout a farm for my family?
Consider it done.
Right. Along that lines, Tom, what kind of seed are you going to start eating?
Amazing.
What the fuck?
So now that you know that we can definitely, if somebody murders you, you want to have your body found, what kind of plant are you going to grow? So that when they hide you, they can be all like, oh, there's a plant out there.
A maple tree, so they can get my sap.
Amazing.
little bit of Tom sap.
Oh God, what the fuck? I take it back.
All right, Shayna, do you have a tree seed you're going to start eating?
I don't know. Grapes don't really grow trees. I have to think about this.
Salty Frank of the Seas says that he recommends papayas because they're delicious. Well, you don't have to have an answer. This is just fun. This isn't a serious one.
That's taking way too long.
A grape tree.
Right.
I don't know. I got all flustered by this silly question.
All right, Jason, what kind of tree are you going to start eating seeds for?
Edible mushrooms.
You're just gonna.
But
I mean,
everybody's eating my mushroom tips.
Well, I mean, like, are people going to be able to figure out that you're buried underneath if you go out there and there's fucking just mushrooms in the forest?
Never know, dude.
Never know.
It'll be amazing. Just chanterelles everywhere.
I have to start.
What kind of tree?
Yeah, what about you, though?
Exactly. I'm gonna start eating lemon seeds, just all the time. Because in the middle of fucking Oregon forest, people are gonna be like, "What the fuck is this lemon tree doing here?" I want people to find my corpse. All right. Our next story here is another one of those, like, a fucked up crime. So the last time Marie Conlon's neighbors remembered seeing her was sometime in January of 2015, but no one was entirely sure. In late October of 2017, police officers forced their way into her apartment in Belfast, Northern Ireland, and found the 68-year-old's remains. Conlon was not married and did not have any children, and it seems that no one noticed that she had died 2 years earlier. No one.
What the fuck? Except
for Robert Sharkey.
Sharkey from Sharkies?
It's what I was, I saw that earlier and I was like, oh my God. According to Belfast Live, Sharkey is accused of breaking into Conlon's home, stealing her bank cards, and then using them to buy food and pay his bills. The 24-year-old is also accused of...
What a piece of shit.
Right.
What an asshole.
He's also accused of failing to report her death for a period stretching from August 2015 until she was discovered in October of 2017.
Wow.
Yep. Conlon... Right, so he pleaded guilty to breaking in and stealing batteries, a coffee mug, 50 pounds, which is $65 cash, and her debit card. He also acknowledged that, yes, he knew that she was dead. He also reportedly used Conlon's debit card to order $7,823 worth of Domino's pizza, $4,284 worth of food at Sainsbury's, and to buy $1,345 for his cell phone, and to pay his $372 power bill. The only
Jesus Christ, dude.
Right. The only allegation he denied was stealing the second debit card.
Only stole the one.
I like Magris just definitely mentioned that shit. He wasn't buying drugs in lab places, right? But the presiding judge, Jeffrey Miller, asked for additional time to consider Sharkey's denial of the second theft, as well as to decide whether the court would prosecute him for breaking and entering, in addition to other charges against him, as he was ordered to return September 24th. But a memorial has been held for Conlon at St. Oliver Plunkett's Church in Belfast on October 19th.
Damn, son.
Andrew Wilson, thank you very much for that subscription with Twitch Prime. I appreciate the hell out of that. Exactly. The sadness subscription. Oh, yeah. Thank you very much for supporting the Illuminati. But yeah. Are you guys ready for it? It's time for the mandatory sex bot story.
Things have changed while I was gone.
We've always got to have a sex bot story every time.
We used to do it for fun. Now it's required.
Exactly. So we've been talking we talked earlier today about robots taking over, people's jobs. And some people may believe that the move is a bit premature, but a group of sex workers from a legal brothel in Las Vegas are speaking out against the rise of sex doll brothels across the planet. They're just mad they're about to get automated.
Oh my God.
Who'd have thunk that'd be the first job?
Right, exactly. One of the first industries is gonna be fucking people gonna get phased out. Like,
I don't think it's gonna be that popular. I think it'll be popular for a second, but once people are like, "Oh yeah, that's right, this is like fucking a doll," it's gonna die down.
Here's the deal. The prices are going to be high at the beginning. Only weirdos with a lot of money are going to be able to do it. but then they'll move on, and people will have to drop the prices. Then all the normal weirdos can start doing it, and that's where the money is.
Right?
Yeah.
Vinoat says, have you ever watched anything cyberpunk? It's gonna be big, right? Salty Frank of the Sea says,
I love cyberpunk, but...
right. Sex bots are also another step in the slow Skynet plan, where we stop reproducing and then they take our other jobs too.
Right.
Andrew Wilson says, normies in all caps. So the licensed prostitutes from Sherry's Ranch are concerned about negative impacts that sex dolls brothels will have on other professions should there be establishments allowed to flourish in North America and the United States. Alyssa, a sex worker at Sherry's, said that she became concerned about the negative implications of promoting sex with inanimate dolls resembling women when she learned that at least one sex dolls rental business, Kinky S Dolls, has been open for in Canada for over a year, and plans to expand into the United States.
Wow.
And apparently, this is news to me. I learned this today, that in fact, Los Angeles has a doll rental agency.
Agency?
Yes.
That does not surprise me one
That's crazy as
little
fuck.
bit.
Right.
I bet it circumvents prostitution laws.
Well, I mean
it
so
does, right?
the doll rental agency is essentially the same thing as if you were to be leasing vibrators, right?
Yeah.
Which is gross.
Agreed.
It's nasty, dude.
But it seems like it'd be legal.
Also,
Huh.
imagine being the repo guy for that.
Why did you say that? Why is that a job?
Oh god.
Why is that a job?
Repo's the genetic opera.
Exactly. You're going to get a lot more genetics than you wanted. This article goes on to get a lot more political than I care to, because it starts talking about stuff that is a very divisive point. We've covered it before about whether or not sex dolls are objectifying women, right?
Right.
But I mean,
I think
that's something
a good
that
conversation to have as a society, though.
Yeah.
true.
I mean,
as a society,
quite
that's perfectly fine.
Literally, yes, it is.
For us, probably not.
Or are you humanizing robots?
Oh.
I'd say if the robots were getting
Out
human
there,
rights, yeah.
Right, exactly. All right, on to another one of our title stories here. And yes, this is an x-ray of someone farting. So some scientists recently have asked the real question: what happens when you hold in a fart?
Oh, fuck, I need to know this.
Right?
Yeah.
So
This is
Claire
so
Collins, a professor of nutrition and dietetics at the University of Newcastle, states that it will come out your mouth.
No fucking way, dude.
Right. If you were
What?
to somehow be able to hold past the point of where your body just involuntarily farts, so therefore you were to add some sort of plug or stopping device and be able to go past all of the pain that it's going to cause, the fart will eventually come out of your mouth.
So South Park was right all along.
Right?
That actually makes sense,
Like-
though, because, like,
As a burp or as like a
Oh no, as a terrible
Yes.
fart mouth.
wow, that's fucking gross. Why did
So
they?
nasty, dude.
My question is, what for? Why? Why did this study, this research need to be done?
Because they needed to know that, dude.
Why?
Don't you feel better knowing that?
Not really.
So you would have rather have found out the hard way? No.
no, I'm just gonna rip it.
You're happy.
So the research itself had 10 healthy people volunteer to have the amount of gas they passed over a day quantified. The researchers added baked beans to their diet and at times psyllium, which is a source of fiber. Collins found that high fiber diets lead to fewer but bigger farts. But before you hold in your farts, you should hear this. The buildup of intestinal gas can trigger abdominal distension, with some gas being reabsorbed into circulation and exhaled in your breath. So,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It doesn't actually pass through your digestive system back out into a mouth fart, but it passes through like your blood into your lungs and then you mouth fart.
Fart blood.
Ew, dude.
Right. Yeah, it's the worst.
You get farty blood. So you can technically die of fart bends.
That's disgusting. Oh my god.
That's not something. That's not natural.
The research is not clear on whether the rise of pressure in your rectum increases your chance of developing a condition called diverticulus, where small pouches develop in the gut lining and become inflamed, or whether it doesn't matter at all. So the next time you feel the gas coming, researchers suggest you find another room to relieve yourself in. But regardless of the room, whether or not you make it there or not, the best thing for your digestive tract is to just let it all go.
Fair enough. I will do that.
Hey, Shayna, it lands on you this time.
I got distracted.
You got a fart story?
What is it? Do I have a fart story? I mean...
I do.
Well, not really. I guess the only thing the thing that popped into my head first off was I managed to pull off out of 3 years of the longest relationship I've ever been in. It was 3 years before he heard me fart. I probably heard him fart every damn day, multiple times. I think it was about 3 years. I almost had him convinced that I don't ever fart.
Okay, that's impressive. That's like some smoke bomb levels of I gotta go fart over here type of thing.
Right.
Well, you go to the bathroom or you leave the room. I think part of it was just being horrified at first, and then I just kind of kept going.
All right.
It's not that I was embarrassed or I cared. It just kind of, I don't know.
All right, Jason. Jason, do you have a fart story?
Not really. I've never farted so well that it's changed a situation.
Shame.
You know what I mean? It's never been like that.
I've never farted so hard that it's changed a situation.
I do know that Udo has a.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's an amazing story.
All right, Tom.
Probably my funniest one was not my own fart, but when I was in undergrad, when I was younger, my parents had a French bulldog that had the most potent gas I have ever smelled come out of a dog. Any dog. Any. And she was a real sweet, cuddly dog. And I was home for Christmas break from college. I remember I was playing League of Legends, and Pia was curled up to me, kind of facing away from me, but also half on my lap. So her ass was literally pointed straight up at my face. And she ripped one of the most fucking disgusting farts I have ever smelled directly into my face.
Oh.
Yes.
It was like getting tear gassed. I swear to God. I'm like hacking and crying, and I literally couldn't see. And my dog killed me in League of Legends with her farts.
That's amazing.
She literally blinded me to death.
Vinuath says I have the best fart story ever. Feel free to type it in chat. I will read it out loud.
Do it.
So much that the company named an award after him. Excellent.
Wow.
Salty Frank says, I ate 1.5 gallons of 6-bean chili once. My farts have been extreme in my life ever since.
Extreme in my life.
I have to press a mute button on the keyboard for my farts in Discord. They are actually louder than someone yelling beside me. All right, I've got a few. So the first one was one time I was sleeping. Girlfriend's next to me at the same time while I'm sleeping. And my cat was up on like crawling around on the like dressers and stuff up in an area that normally I would shoo him off of, but I'm sleeping, right? So I farted so loud that it terrified the cat, and it just like broke everything on the top of my dresser, and I wake up to this sound, right? I get up and Kathy's awake, and she looks over at me and she's all like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "What happened? What was that sound?" And then it hits me and I'm all like, what died?" And it was totally me.
Oh my god.
Amazing.
Another time I was with a coworker in an elevator, right? And I'm talking with my buddy about some stuff. On the way up in the elevator on the second floor, this old lady walks inside. And she's like sitting right next to like two big dudes in this elevator and this little old grandma. And we're just like, well, we can't talk about what we were talking about because it's fucked up and there's an old lady in the car now. She goes up like 4 floors, and like on the floor right before she's getting off, she just let out the loudest, most thunderous, terrifying old woman fart ever.
Oh my god.
And then she just like, pardon me. And then 1 floor later gets off, and then fucking me and my buddy just die, right?
Oh my god.
What the fuck, dude?
Vinuath says, so
gross.
I'm a professional dance performer. This happened before I knew I was lactose intolerant. I went on stage to perform a piece that is primarily lifts,
shit.
which is lifting a girl and doing cool tricks and stuff. And shit. There's this one lift where she's lying across my shoulders, and from there I grab her shoulders and swing her around me. I was well engaged with my core, and to start throwing out motion with this lift, I rip super hard. I throw this poor girl through the cloud, but that's not all. We will hear more as that goes on. All of us are on the edge of our seats.
Right?
So, Jason, were either of those the 2 stories you were talking about, or do you have a different one you remember?
Oh, dude, my favorite one is when you started a fight.
That's a hell of a cold open.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I think I'm...
This the one in the bar with your brother?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Right. I'm trying to remember the exact details of that one. That was during the times when I was drinking.
Uno was a man of many farts. Apparently.
Right. No, there was somebody. I don't want to do that story injustice. I cannot recall the data on it right now.
No worries.
Right. Jit. I like.
It's so good though.
It's
like one of my favorite stories of all time.
I'm like vaguely even remembering parts of my own life right now about that. I'm like, fuck. I'll prepare that for a future episode. We're waiting on Vinuath's data here. All right. Let's we'll move on to here we go. 4 more people enter the stage, and they describe the entrance as hitting a wall. I managed to fill the entire stage. This exact scenario happened 3 shows in a row. We already did a blunder of the show award after every show. After winning 3 times in a row for this, they renamed it the Seth Award of Excellence.
Wow. That's pretty mean.
And I bet those are worked up too. Like you got a lot of heat coming from those ones. All right, so
spice.
I'm gonna read this one. This one definitely needs to be read the way that the author wrote it because it's that good. So, sure, Christy Lynn Woods, 37, may have boosted an ambulance while paramedics were performing CPR on an unconscious woman in Southern Oregon. Sure. She then led police officers, sheriff deputies, and state troopers on a high-speed chase on Interstate 5 for nearly 30 miles, ambulance lights flashing the whole way, authorities say. And yes, she is accused of ramming a cop car off of the freeway as her speedometer hit 85 miles an hour. But seated and handcuffed in the back of the patrol car on Sunday, Woods apparently wanted to know what all the fuss was about. She replied with, "I was a good fucking driver. I didn't try to hurt anyone," she said. Furthermore, Woods seemed to think that this whole thing wasn't her fault. "Why did you leave it unlocked?" she asked, according to the probable cause affidavit filed by the officer. The episode began just before 3:30 p.m. when emergency paramedics rushed to the aid of an unconscious woman in an apartment building in Southeast Jackson Street in downtown Roseburg. As the medics attempted to revive the woman, police said Woods, a local with a lengthy and colorful rap sheet, apparently came across their ambulance parked outside on the street. Somebody just left this here. Woods decided to fire up the engine and take off, police said. The medics, who needed to take their patient to the hospital, returned to find their emergency vehicle missing. Soon after, an Oregon State trooper on patrol attempted to pull Woods over while she cruised around downtown, authorities said. But instead, she pulled onto the freeway, hit the emergency lights, and stepped on the gas. The ambulance chase was on. Woods reached speeds of 85 miles an hour as she raced north on I-5, court records allege. At one point, near milepost 130, she rammed a state police cruiser that was driving in front of the ambulance in an attempt to divert traffic, the records say. The collision sent the cop car careening onto the highway's wire median, which shaved the light bar off of the top of the vehicle and completely shattered the windshield.
Oh my God.
Oh, apparently Man Bear Pig says that they were driving home from Afterworlds when they saw this.
Holy shit.
What, really?
Yeah, Man Bear Pig definitely lives in that area.
That's fucking crazy, dude.
There was so much dirt and debris from the crash that no one could see the roadway for about a second. Troopers inside suffered minor injuries, police said. Woods drove another 16 miles before officers managed to slash the ambulance tires with spike strips across the road. She eventually pulled off of the freeway into a gas station, left from the ambulance, and immediately dropped to the ground. "I gave up when I should," she informed the officers.
This bitch is crazy, dude.
Yeah.
On her way to the Douglas County jail.
That's a hell of a drug.
Right, exactly. On her way to the Douglas County jail, she seemed truly astonished by the whole string of events. She said, "Oh my God, I can't believe I just did that." She was booked on 13 charges, including assault, interfering with an EMT, criminal mischief, and reckless driving. That's just including, so.
Oh my God. Bitch
Exactly.
is crazy.
The very last quote that they've got here is she said, "Piss, I'm going to prison."
Oh my God.
Fucking amazing. Oh,
Yes.
what an astute observation.
Look at that
God.
face. She's just all like, "Yeah, I did it. I'm good."
She looks like a Simpsons cartoon character.
A bit, right?
Like no lips.
Right.
She gives zero fucks, dude.
Clearly.
Have you guys ever heard of a vampire facial?
Nope.
No.
But I know I'm about to.
Right.
What?
So
What
health
the
officials.
actual fucking shit.
Right. Exactly.
Oh,
Health
fuck,
officials.
I have to do this.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the past like 2 weeks, dude, it's been popping up on my newsfeed because I have a bunch of like I'm in a bunch of Facebook groups that make fun of like anti-vaxxers and shit.
Right.
Right.
And
Right.
this has been popping up.
So health officials are recommending that clients who have received a vampire facial or any other type of injection-related service at an Albuquerque spa should get tested for HIV and other bloodborne infections, as unsafe practices were identified at the facility.
Oh my fucking God. That's really awful.
Salty Frank of the Seven Seas says, "Is a vampire facial when you pull down your pants and have a sparkle cannon in the crotch of your underwear and shoot it in someone's face?"
Yeah, basically.
That is an elaborate sex act.
Right.
That's an elaborate.
Squid Punk says, "Just strip off all of the skin on your face. It's new skin that will grow back baby soft." I hope that's not what it actually is. Oh, fuck. I thought it was applying blood, not receiving blood from being a fucking dumbass. Ugh. Anyway, the New Mexico Department of Health announced on Tuesday that a client of the VIP spa developed an infection that may have resulted from the spa procedure. The department is urging clients to visit the state Midtown Public Health Office this week for HIV, Hep B, Hep C testing, and counseling. It's important for anyone who received a vampire facial or any other injection-related service to report.
They're going to think it's counseling for the trauma. Really, it's counseling for what the fuck is wrong with you.
Right.
What made you think this was ever a good idea? The fucking links people will go to.
Right.
I mean,
when
you
done
could probably convince them of some pretty disgusting procedures if they thought that it would make their skin prettier and their butt bigger and their lips plump.
Well, when done safely and properly, a vampire facial, also known as a plasma-rich protein facial, should not expose clients to such bloodborne infections. I'm trying to figure out, I'm looking for the thing here. As long as proper protocols are, yeah, anyway. I'm going to go look up vampire facial here because we have questions. There is, okay, what is a vampire facial from Allure magazine? Here we go. Okay. Oh, shit. All right, there we go. Let's see. This is, in layman terms, it's a facial that essentially uses your own blood to help promote a healthy activity in your skin cells. It is blood comprised of red blood cells and serum, which contains white blood cells and platelets. Something about growth factors. Oh, okay. So they take your blood and inject it into the skin of your face. That's fucking gross.
Yeah.
That's super gross.
That's super fucked up. Like,
that is still gross, but it grosses me out less than other people's blood.
Right.
Well,
I will say, like,
Fair.
It makes it a little less gross for me.
A little bit.
At the same time, they clearly didn't clean their fucking needles, so.
Right. Yeah, that's probably what happens.
Yeah.
Salty Frank says it turns out that the blood isn't infected, but the Red Cross is still low on blood donors. Squidbug says, sorry, Susie, we know you need a transfusion, but rich white women are injecting this into their faces.
Sorry, Susie.
Oh
we know you need a transfusion, but rich white women are injecting it into their faces.
Jesus.
Oh my god!
All right, so here's our last news story and the last title story that you guys were from today's title. This is about the apocalypse. So they thought it was Armageddon, and they wanted to save their neighbors. They believed that the police were monsters. They showed super strength after being pepper sprayed and tasered. But all but one of them were naked, because with the end of the world, they didn't have time to get dressed. So this is a weird series of events that occurred in Leduc. I don't remember what state. Maybe it's Edmonton, so North Carolina, right? But 2 women and 1 man who could not be identified due to a publication ban each pleaded guilty in Leduc Provincial Court last week to a charge of unlawful confinement. One of the women was also pleaded guilty to dangerous driving. Her 2 teenage daughters were involved, but were not charged. So the girl's father, who was not part of the group, said that the 5 may have unknowingly drank some hallucinogenic tea, but the agreed statement of facts submitted to court says that alcohol and drugs were not factors, and there is no mention of the tea in the document.
Oh God.
So the group of Jehovah's Witnesses gathered together in a home near Leduc on November 2nd. This is last year, so a lot of this stuff hasn't come out until now because of the publication ban, right? The mother, who was then 35, had taken her daughters to visit the 27-year-old nephew and his 30-year-old wife. But over the next 3 days, the court says that their court documents says that they didn't leave the house and barely ate. One of the teens recalls watching movies, but also hearing screaming and banging and seeing ashes in the air. Some of the 5 hid in a bedroom or in a bathroom. They did so because they believed that they were in danger, and either from bad or wicked people outside from demons, says the document. It says that the group believed that the Great Tribulation had begun and November 6th was the Armageddon. So they rushed off to find safety and to save a neighboring family. The 4
heroes.
The 4 who were naked had to leave right away because they thought it was unsafe. Hold on just a second.
Hi,
hey,
Jasper.
boy. It's not real. There's no apocalypse. This is a story.
Dad, be safe.
It's okay, bud.
Take this tennis ball.
All right.
Take this tennis ball.
Something's going on. Hey,
Dude,
come on.
Jasper packed him a fucking tennis ball at one point.
Yeah,
Amazing.
I was away for the weekend last weekend, and or not last weekend, but the weekend before. And when I put my when I put my stuff on the ground to get packed before I left, at some point he came over and put one of his balls in it, and then
that's
it was
super cute.
it was like the cutest thing to find Saturday later, open up my stuff, go through my stuff. I'm like, oh my god, like fighting back the tears. I'm like, my dog's so cute.
That's my boy.
Age of Doge, thank you very much for those delectable little Doge pictures. All right. So the 4 who were naked had to leave right away because they thought it was unsafe. So they left without clothes. The mother, the only one dressed, drove them all in a BMW SUV, but was in such a hurry that they went through the garage door. When the vehicle headed to the neighbor's home, they bent through a metal gate. The neighbors, a man, his adult daughter, and her 6-week-old son were forced out of their house and into the snow without shoes. The woman and her baby were put into the back seat, and the teen girls who were naked under a blanket, and the man was put in the trunk and ordered to chant Jehovah 10 times. The group then chanted Jehovah as the SUV sped down the road and went through a red light on their way to Nisku, says the document. Because the trunk didn't latch shut, the man was able to climb out when the vehicle slowed. His daughter, after getting her hand slammed in the door of the SUV, was able to get out with her baby. A passing truck stopped and helped the trio, and they climbed inside. The document says then that the SUV rammed the truck from behind and that the woman and her baby were thrown into the truck's dash, although they were not injured. The SUV then went into a ditch. So, this is like a story that you'd see in like a horror movie.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we managed to get away. Oh no, the new truck driver is being rammed, right? Like new characters in here is like, what are these crazy people doing? Like, Witless Wonder says, I want some of that tea. I don't think anybody needs some of this tea. Okay, so now we got to make a choice, guys, because we got 15 minutes left. One of the 2 last things that we've got in this show may not be able to get to. I've got Florida Man, and I've got Be the Change. Which one would you
be the change?
Florida Man. Damn it.
There's some really good ones that I saw, so I was
just so
hoping you got.
happy.
So what we'll do is
shit.
we'll do Be the Change first, then we'll duck back into Florida Man if we can. Well, Vinuath says Florida Man and Grizzly says Florida Man, so we're kind of outnumbered. Let's just quickly we'll quickly go through the Be the Change section, and then we'll get right back to Florida Man.
So yeah, sounds good.
Actually, let's do Florida Man first because you kind of got to finish Florida Man for the full bingo package.
Oh, that's a good point. Let's go back to Florida Man.
I definitely do want to do Be the Change, but I think doing Florida Man first does make more sense if we're gonna potentially clip one short.
Give
All right.
people what the wall.
for those of you who are joining us for the first time, we are about to play Florida Man Bingo. I have just provided a link in the chat there. Just click that, and that will bring you to a Florida Man Bingo card that you can fill out as we rapid fire through some of these Florida Man stories that we're just about to go through. Pay attention to keywords, use creative thoughts, and if you manage to complete your card with a bingo, take a screenshot of it and send it to me at skeptalk_live on Twitter, and I will reward you with stream currency if you want to win. Also, I'll mention you all over everything, and we'll make a big deal of the fact that you won. Honestly, nobody but Ramo has ever even sent me one, so if it ends up happening, I'll make a big goddamn deal about it. All right, Jacksonville, Florida. A man faces misdemeanor charges after authorities say that he stripped off all of his clothing. Oh, we got an applause there. I'll wait for that to load here, and then I'll thank them for it. But he stripped off all of his clothing outside of a Chick-fil-A while inviting passersby to stare at his genitals.
Fair enough.
The bizarre incident unfolded. Whitla's Wonder, thank you very much for that applause. The bizarre incident unfolded shortly after 1 a.m. Monday in the parking lot of the restaurant on Palm Coast Parkway, according to an arrest report released by Flagler County Sheriff Office. Witnesses said that witnesses told investigators that the episode began when she took a call from her boyfriend, who said he was being chased by a man while riding his bike past Winn-Dixie. The witnesses said that then when she got to Chick-fil-A, a stranger was challenging her boyfriend to a fight. Then, she said, he took off all of his clothes and began to yell at people about his private parts.
All right.
I observed multiple vehicles drive while the man was nude and yelling, "Look at my dingus." A deputy noted on the report. The man, 30-year-old Corey Michael Hatzel, was arrested on charges of disorderly conduct and resisting officers without violence. As of Monday afternoon, he's in custody in lieu of $1,000 bail. Salty Frank says, does KFC make this bestiality?
Amazing.
All right. A man was arrested Saturday morning after getting stuck on top of a roof of a convenience store in Dayland, Florida. According to a video released by the Volusia County Sheriff's Office, the owner of the store saw a head pop over the roof of the locked store and heard a man yelling, "I'm dying. I need help." That's when the owners called the cops. After law enforcement got him down, the shirtless man, later identified as Michael Monticelli, said that he was simply thirsty and in need of water. The deputies did not believe that he wasn't trying to break into the locked business. As per arrest report, the 31-year-old climbed a tree to gain access to the roof. He says, "I didn't even try to do it. It just happened, man."
Just happened randomly.
It just happened. I just ended up on this roof. Is there a tattoo on his cheek? I don't know. Yes, there should be. There's a looks like there's a tattoo. Maybe this guy's that kind of badass. All right. So a South Florida man who cross-dressed as a woman and taped himself having sex with at least 80 unsuspecting straight men to produce internet porn videos pleaded guilty Thursday in Miami federal court.
Hold on. Say that sentence again.
A South Florida man who cross-dressed as a woman and taped himself having sex with at least 80 unsuspecting straight men to produce internet porn videos pleaded guilty.
Unsuspecting? I'm sorry, but just wearing a dress doesn't change the body parts.
Right. Brian DeMontessier, 33, admitted to engaging in sex with over 150 men, with just over half unaware of his production in the secret videos that he just under half were aware of. Or wait, how did that... With just over half unaware of his production of the secret videos and just under half aware of it.
That makes them not fucking secret then.
Right. De Monstier, also known at the screen name Susan Leon 33326, pleaded guilty to 2 counts of illegal interception of oral communications before the U.S. District Judge Cecilia Altanaga. He faces up to 10 years in prison at his sentencing on November 29th, although he is suspected to receive less time. As part of his plea agreement, 3 related charges will be dropped by federal prosecutors. He has been held without bond after being charged this summer with luring the men into his homestead home, making sex tapes without their knowledge, and then uploading them to a porn site that he charged a fee for.
Oh.
Right.
Well, that is unsuspecting. That part's unsuspecting.
Yeah.
The rest
Right.
is not.
The way the headline's written is though they're unsuspecting that he was truly a male. That's what was making it fun.
Right. Exactly. So an indictment filed by prosecutors lists 3 victims of this related to the operation of Straight Boys. The site promised gay men videos of real straight men being conned into accepting sex acts while blindfolded or wearing blackout goggles. Investigators believed Demonstier helped. Yeah, right.
That's fucking rape right there, dude. That's
well, I mean, they're accepting it. They're being told it's okay. I mean, it's. I'm not saying this is okay, but I'm saying that there's a legal problem with the gray area type of thing.
Right, I'm calling it actually rape. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So I think that's why he's getting charged for other stuff, because they're all shit. He technically didn't break the law, right? And for those of you wondering, this is one of the types of photos that he was using to lure people in.
Wait, this one where he with men? He's luring men in with this picture?
Yes.
Oh, okay, right. I forgot the video we're watching is delayed. I was looking at his mugshot.
Right.
Wait a minute.
I was just like, okay.
Nope.
Okay, this makes a little more sense.
In the article, there are a lot more lewd pictures that I could not show, that I was all like, oh, I see why someone showed up, right? Type of thing. Because when I was looking at this, I was like, oh, that's real fucked up. Like, that does not look like a person who could lure a bunch of guys to fake them out. But then he cleans up real good with makeup, so...
Or at least his ass does.
Salty Frank of the 7Cs says, does this count as an unusual weapon because he used his feminine wiles as a weapon? Very possibly. I'll allow it. Minor perp means minor doing the crime, not a minor perpetration. This wonder says it's rape. They were not made aware of everything involved, and it was not educated consent. Therefore, it's rape. I would agree, but I don't think that it's gonna work that way when you get judges and lawyers involved. I'm not saying that what he did wasn't, but what I'm saying is that when you come down to the books, I think that he's gonna technically slide on it. So that's why they're trying to nail him for other things until they can get more concrete evidence.
He goes in the one slide.
It's actually, while that might be considered rape, it's exceptionally hard to prove that in court. Hence all of the issues around that in courts.
There's the other story of the guy that we covered a long time ago where he was using foreign objects in the dark instead of his dingus because he didn't have one.
Right, he used the mortar shell.
Right. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What?
Well, that mortar shell one was another fucked up one, but
okay, yeah,
right.
There's just plenty of this shit going wrong.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Cool for this show,
right? I think that everybody should use the consent apps about everything. Those things are awesome. Stay protected.
Yeah,
all right.
Wait, is this Florida where it blew up?
No. But they died of internal bleeding, right?
Okay.
Long time ago. Yeah.
I'll shut up. What the fuck?
It's real terrible.
A Florida woman announced that she was a Kardashian before assaulting her neighbor for allegedly being too noisy. Crystal Kohler, 35, was charged with simple battery, according to the Marion County Sheriff's Office. She was arrested Friday after she randomly approached a neighbor and said, "I'm a Kardashian. I'm going to fuck you up," the sheriff's office said. But then she allegedly pushed the neighbor. The woman told deputies that the victim was being too nosy, and that the victim told deputies that there had been an ongoing problem with Kohler, alleging Kohler's screamed at the neighbor for no reason, authorities said. Kohler is now being held for a $500 bond. All right. Our last Florida man story here is the top candidate to be the next manager for the city of Naples has declined the job. What? Naples has offered Shanahan, which is it's Joyce Shanahan, somewhere between $200,000 and $230,000 for her salary, but she called the mayor Wednesday afternoon to say that those numbers just weren't going to work.
That's fair.
Wait, 200,000?
Yep, not enough to manage a Florida city. Not enough.
Not, dude. I'm with her on that one.
It is a Florida city.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Naples is a Florida city. Yeah. One of the
I wouldn't deal with that shit.
Fucking retarded.
Yeah.
One of the requirements is that Naples city manager has to live within the city limits, and she said she's not willing to do that. Everything about this Florida job is not going to work out for this woman. She's all like, I know how our people act.
Right. I love that she's just like, I want to remote lead this city.
Right.
I want to telecommute my mayor job.
Yeah, I'm calling this one in.
But that is 6 Florida man stories. If you were able to collect enough parts out of that and get a bingo, feel free to send me a picture. Witless Wonder says patriotism. That just screams patriotism. I'll totally accept patriotism on that one, because she was being an American hero.
You're right.
I need weed. Damn
exactly.
you.
All right. Here is our Be the Change section, where we're going to go through change.org and find a bunch of people doing real work to make real change. As always, the first one for this is always going to be our petition to attempt to get to 100 votes on a change.org petition. We were at 50 something before. It takes a while for it to update when we put it on this thing, so, you know. But
how far are we? We've had this going for so long.
We're 53.
Are we ever gonna get to
Yes, we are.
Yeah,
yes, we can.
That's the question. Will we ever get to 100? You know,
it's just 100. Can't reach 100 people.
Well, there's 100 people who are afraid of finding out the truth of getting to 100 votes.
Exactly.
Right.
It's a fucking conspiracy, bro.
Our first guest petition is change the name of the capital of Montana to Hannah.
I'll sign that.
Amazing.
Oh my God.
The capital is currently Helena, but just now imagine how great it would be if the capital was called Hannah. You could live in Hannah, Montana.
It's pretty fair.
Oh my God.
That sounds dirty.
Exactly.
A little bit.
It reminds me of that one song. Some of you know that song. It's by a man named Stitches. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely go check out Stitches Molly Cyrus. It is worth seeing in your life. It's got 20-something million views on YouTube.
Oh shit.
So our next petition here is to change schools to education stations. This is going directly to Betsy DeVos, so she can actually at least get something done. Countless. Okay, so this person needs to go to an education station. I'm going to read this directly, though. Countless of students have been confused for generations in what the word school means. To them, school is the place where they go to be educated. Therefore, we should change the name of schools to education stations.
This is why we shouldn't have potatoes as speakers. Looking at you, Trump.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, did you hear the reaction in his address to the UN today?
God,
I didn't.
Oh, I laughed so fucking hard.
Yeah.
We've done more than anything else any other administration ever. Whole audience just starts fucking laughing.
Oh, I heard about it. Yeah.
He was just like, my administration is the best, and everyone in the UN lost their shit. All right. Our next petition here is to make coconuts officially mammals, as coconuts have hair and produce milk, and while they don't give live births, neither do platypuses. They lay eggs. So if we can bend the rules for platypuses, why not do it for our lovely cocoa friends?
That's fair.
Right? As a doctor, how do you feel about this one, Tom? What's your official medical opinion here?
You can have it, but only if we also include tungsten, and tungsten is also a mammal.
Does it have hair?
No, I'm just being an asshole.
Okay.
The cat's like, wait a minute. Does it give birth? What do I not know about tungsten?
Right. I just pulled an element out of my ass.
Right.
Dude,
that was not my best joke.
You can't just lie to us.
In case you are
Oz.
Right. In case you are against our last petition, here's one for you, and that is to take platypus out of the mammalia class.
Right.
Because they lay eggs, take them out of mammalia. So if you don't think that a coconut should be a mammal, you should also not think that the platypus should be a mammal. False equivalency fallacy. Let's do it.
Love it.
And to wrap up tonight's episode, remember to go out and vote. Today is National Voter Registration Day, and you should definitely be doing so. Especially if you think America is the greatest, or if you hate MAGA hats, go fucking register to vote. Right? There's reasons on all sides for you to go register and vote.
Exactly.
Do it.
Wait, are all us hosts registered?
Yep.
I'm registered.
Yeah. I just I just moved, so, and they make it very easy when you change your address to check a box that says re-register to me to vote. So
Nice.
Hella dope. I didn't have to do shit. They make it super easy everywhere to do this. So the only excuse you have is being lazy or an asshole.
And being lazy is like, I mean, it's not so much lazy as it's, do you ever leave your house?
Right.
Like, I don't know. I encountered like people trying to sign you up to vote almost everywhere if you go anywhere. But
and sometimes they come to your house.
Those people.
I'm not a big fan.
I absolutely hate them.
But
they're like, can I register to vote? No, I've got the fucking internet. Leave me alone.
Exactly. I don't want any of my data with you.
Just direct people to the library. That's all you gotta do.
Oh, damn, dude. Damn, dude. I just like
capture card.
My brain just came up with the next Nigerian prince scheme, and it involves voter registration fraud, man.
Vote.
Yep. You're just all like, and then here, put your credit card information here so that we can charge you a one-time dollar fee in order to verify your address, just like the post office does on an address change.
Yeah, that's bad.
Apparently Sonic just got bought by Arby's.
No. Yes?
Hold on.
I don't know.
I'm not. That okay.
Yeah,
none of that makes me care about anything.
Arby's parent company bought burger chain Sonic in a $2.3 billion deal.
Holy shit.
People.
Is Sonic good?
No.
No, it's
Okay,
fast food.
so our hope that they would just close Arby's down is gone.
Right.
Have you ever been to like a fair, like a I want to say like,
the fun thing about Sonic is they still do it's the kitschy come out in the roller skates and bring your food to your car. That's what they're.
Yeah, that's fucking stupid. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
The only reason to stop by a Sonic's is if you want to get the best version of a Slurpee, right? So if you want like lemon in your Slurpee, they straight up put like half a lemon in your Slurpee, right? It's like a real piece of fruit in it. Those are dope.
I mean, a couple times a decade, dude. That sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need it all the time, but
right.
Then again, right. Yeah, that's the only reason to go. They taste like food that's warmed up in a microwave, because I'm pretty sure it's food warmed up in a microwave. So
yeah.
Yeah. All right. So with that ends our show. I think that we did good on time. Yeah, it's only about 7 minutes over. We managed to get through all the parts. I'm getting better at making sure that these shows are the right length. But
nice.
All right.
Yeah, you are.
So Shayna, thank you very much for joining us. How was your episode?
It was awesome. I had a good time. Sorry for all the yawning, but
No?
I had a great time.
Dr. Tom, what's your prescription for all of our problems?
Tune in on Thursday.
Excellent.
Doctor's orders.
Take two episodes of Skep Talk a weekend. Call me in the morning. Jason, nice. Always good to have you here, man.
Thanks, man.
Did you enjoy yourself?
I did, and as your accountant, I would like to say it's a good time to invest in Arby's, ladies and gentlemen.
People love microwaved food. All right. Let's go see if we can find somebody to raid here. Raids are always good to do. It's helped us a lot. I mean, just Jason, you weren't here, but on Thursday we got a 40-person raid from that badass Bloodmaster.
Yeah.
Holy
awesome.
shit, that's awesome.
Yep. Let's see. Cool. I'm gonna check out talk shows and see if we can find a good one, because keep the talk show going. There's something called the On Blast show. A lot of people watching that. There's the Anything Goes super chill late night chat. We're number 5 on the list right now because we're badasses. There's the Trash Talk podcast with Trash Panda Gur.
Yeah.
All right.
That sounds dope.
That sounds fun.
We're all going to take a chance. I'm not even going to check it out. We're just going there, guys. Let's do it. Undaria says, end the show by vaping into the camera. I'll do that. Don't worry. At the end of the raid. Or when the raid bar is low. Vinoath says that I'm the best. I thank you very much for that compliment. Blaze Black Sheep says, have a great night. And Grizz, never be worried about random news. Oh, it wants me to hit the raid now button. Neat. They added it. I can start a raid, and then when I'm ready. Oh, did that do it?
I think
we're
it did.
We're rated as fuck.
Yeah, it did. So they can't hear us anymore.